news. Today's a lovely day to go outside and have a nice picnic or a walk. My name is Samantha Poole and I'm my co-anchor, Lupe Bendila. On today's news, we have a handful. New criminal laws and justice research have made some new discoveries as to why Chicago crime rates have gone up.
Yes, it's quite interesting. But do you really think they found out the reasons?
They could have, but let's have our audience be the judge of that. With us today, we have a special guest, Justin Noriega, who is the lead researcher on this, and let's hear what he has to say.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. While conducting research over a period of time, this is what we came up with. Let's start off with the first clip. Here we have a news report from the 87 block of Escabana. We were able to interview the mother of Ronnie Chambers, the shooting, and her reaction to the tragedy today. We're here live at the 8700 block where a 33-year-old Ronnie Chambers was fatally shot.
This fatal event happened this Saturday morning. He's the fourth child of the Chambers to have died from gun violence.
This is just another tragic event that is a furtherance on our gun control.
And also the problem that can possibly arise when mental health and guns are combined together.
I'm just getting news in that we have live footage of the events that just happened earlier today.
What am I going to do? You know, he's my only child. I have no one now.
A man is killed in a shooting on the west side. His mother has now lost all of her children to gun violence. A mother's anguish topping our news this half hour. Shirley Chambers has a heartbreaking perspective on the gun violence that is plaguing the Chicago area. A family portrait reminds Shirley Chambers of the unimaginable cost of gun violence. Today, the mother of four grieves once again.
Right now, I'm totally lost because Ronnie, give me a minute. Ronnie was my only surviving son.
Her son, 34-year-old Ronnie Chambers, died early Saturday morning after police say that he was shot as he sat in a parked car in the 1100 block of South Mozart in Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Another passenger was wounded.
He was trying to change. He changed his life a lot. And he's the type of kid that he will do anything for you. He would even give his shirt off his back for you.
Ronnie was Chambers' only surviving son and the last of her children to die of gunshots. Back in 1995, Chambers' 18-year-old son, Carlos, was shot to death by a fellow student at Jones Metropolitan High School while they walked along State Street in the South Loop. After that, her 15-year-old daughter, Latoya, was shot in the head and killed, allegedly at the hands of a 13-year-old boy. In July of 2000, her son, Jerome, was gunned down just feet away from where his sister was slain.
What did I do wrong? You know, I was there for them all ways, and I made sure we didn't have everything we wanted, but we had what we needed.
Though full of a mother's pain, Shirley Chambers does not display bitterness or anger as she struggles to cope with accepting what is.
They took my only child. I have nobody now. That's my only baby.
So what are you trying to tell us by showing us this?
This is one of the tragic events that have occurred where a Chicagoan has died due to gun violence. Guns are becoming a serious issue, and through this new method called archival research, I have been able to come up with a supporting evidence in favor of saying guns are a serious problem. Ronnie's mother lost all of her children due to gun violence, and she is one of many that has gone through this. There is no known reason as to why many people get shot.
Are you saying that guns are the reason why crime has risen and more lives are taken?
No, because of guns, it is way easier to take a life. It also allows people the liberty to use guns however they choose to, whether used for protecting your family or abusing the power of bearing arms for revenge or carelessness acts. It all begins somewhere, and that can be through the environment you live in and the bad influence of others, as well as the media being a factor.
How does the media have to do anything to do with it?
Well, a lot of people are constantly on their phones, watching TV, and on laptops, and they're always in some way connected. People look up to celebrities and famous people and try to mimic what they do and what they say.
So are you saying celebrities are the problem?
No, it's everything they're conveying. They think that by owning a gun, it is cool and it makes you powerful. Video games allow a person to kill another, and in some games where you are the bad person, you get things such as cash, rewards, or maybe the mission that you need to complete in order to pass on to the next level.
Oh, I see what you mean. So media is a great influence on our society now?
Yes, it is, but let me show you what I mean. Next, I have some more compelling evidence that I found that specifically talks about media.
The main question asked today is if gun violence will ever stop. What is influencing our nation's youth that engages them in acts of violence? Many people blame social media and today's music scene.
I go to war till my heart stop. You niggas ain't listening. Get the thumping and the dumping at your newborn's christening. Tell your homie, tell his homies he gon' need more homies. Ain't this a bitch? I got that extended clip right on me.
Whew, that just gave me chills.
That was just one of the many examples that children are exposed to these days. Now let's take a look at some clips that are seen on everyday television.
Hi there. Spring's here, so it's hunting season. Get your guns at Guns R Us.
Whoa, careful there, Annie Oakley.
I don't have to be careful, I got a gun.
Well, you'll probably want the accessory kit, holster,
Oh yeah,
bandolier,
baby.
silencer, loudener, speed cocker,
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
and this is for shooting down police helicopters.
Oh, I don't need anything like that. Yet. Just give me my gun.
Sorry, the law requires a 5-day waiting period. We've got to run a background check.
5 days? But I'm mad now.
Yeah,
I'd kill you if I had my gun.
well, you don't.
Today, children and teens are constantly exposed to music videos, movies, video games, billboards, and magazines promoting violence. Some individuals can virtually step into a new world through video games and take part in acts of violence while receiving rewards that encourage them to go further.
Let's take a look at what's currently in the pop scene.
Z nami Bóg. Remember, no Russian.
What? Am I hard to see? Watch where you're going.
Next time, don't mess with me.
Air unit from City. Let's split up. I want this part.
Think I was a joke?
Requires south slope. Southbound on foot.
You're going to a better place than this stuff.
Shiva wins. Fatality. Scorpion wins. Fatality. Kung Lao wins. Fatality. Cabal wins. Fatality. New Cybot wins. Fatality.
Grand Theft Auto, Hitman, Call of Duty, and Mortal Kombat are just a few examples of violent video games. Chicago rapper Chief Keef promotes his music through explicit lyrics referencing guns, sex, and bloodshed.
Chicago has the most strict gun laws in the nation. In 2012, a total of 500 citizens were murdered through gun violence. Looking at the current homicide rate, roughly 1 in every 240 Americans were murdered through violent crimes.
Let's take a look at how we can stop the violence.
I love The Simpsons, but I feel that in this case it shows how people act with guns, and that is that they act recklessly. People get guns out of anger and that leads to horrible events, but the media is truly a great influence on everyone, whether it leads to individuals being more violent or to something simple as how to dress.
You are so right. I bought these jeans that look like something like J.Lo would wear.
And those jeans, I like them, they're really nice. But exactly, see, that's my point. People should not own guns because there are those like Ronnie and many other innocent lives are taken away. One last thing I would want to share with you is of a father, a young father who lost his life trying to protect his son. These acts of violence causes some to pull a hero from within, but in this case, we lost that hero. Willie Cook was truly an exceptional young man, and he will be forever remembered like every other person who has lost their lives due to gun violence. Here's the news reporting.
We have a new story developing out of an honorable military man, 25-year-old Willie Cook. Willie just recently returned from duty and was shot killing his 2-year-old son. The man was an Indiana resident.
A heartbreaking story that deserves the attention. It is a growing epidemic here in Chicago that we continually see. We just received live footage of the tragedy.
Mistaken identity. His body was found slumped over his 2-year-old son, who he was attempting to shield. Here's Cook's wounded son in the arms of his widow. The little boy was also hit in the left and right legs, and a third bullet grazed the toddler's head. Cook's widow says her husband's last act was to protect their baby.
And he saved his son. He made sure that before he left, the last thing he did was make sure his son was okay. And to know that your 2-year-old has to pretend to talk to his dad, come home not even 5 months later, and for your life to just be taken away like that, it's not fair.
What a mess. He survives Afghanistan, only to get gunned down in Chicago.
Wow, that's a really sad story. And it's sad to see how easily lives are taken.
Yes, it really is. I was recently reviewing firearm owners' car statistics that are put in by the Illinois State Police, and applicants have doubled since last year. Crime has risen and people's safety is becoming more and more of a problem. Whether these applicants are using a firearm card for the right reasons is hard to answer. However, crime shootings in Chicago have increased and will only continue to increase unless more actions are taken by higher authorities. Tragically, this is another undeserved shooting fatality in Chicago, and I agree that it continues to be a growing epidemic. With one of the strictest laws and concern to gun control, Chicago continues to show failure. There has to be a more efficient control on the handling of weapons and a tighter force that focuses on the prevention. More proactive officers and more agencies working together to lessen this issue would be key.
Yes, it is getting out of control, and it seems to me that you have shown us that today. Crime has risen due to the media's influence and the ability to get guns easily. Well, that seems to be all the time we have for today. Thank you for your time, Justin. We appreciate everything that you have shown us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me and allowing me to share this research with you.
No, thank you. And thank you, Chicago, for tuning in to Channel 654, bringing you the latest news. My name is Guadalupe Mandillo. Have a great evening.